Welcome to the Reticle Up podcast, where I, 3-Gun Kenzie, will be interviewing competitive shooters, hunters, fishermen, archers, entrepreneurs, and outdoorsmen. Come learn with me as I interview people from all walks of life, in different disciplines, all across the world, from novices to professionals of all ages. No matter what, everyone has something they can teach you, so come join me on the journey. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Reticle Up podcast. I'm here with Trace Decker. He is a Grandmaster Carry Optics competitive shooter and my good friend here. So Trace, I'm glad you finally sat down with me for this podcast.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I think we were supposed to do this a while back. So
yeah, just a little bit, just a few months ago. Okay, 2022.
As with life.
Right. So for you, who first introduced you to firearms?
So probably like everybody else, my dad kind of brought me into guns. Of course, it was 22 cricket and whatnot, but I think I was like 8 years old shooting soda cans and whatnot. And I didn't really shoot any pistols until I was like 15 or so. And of course, I think it was a Ruger Mark IV, and that's what I learned to shoot a pistol on. So a little bit drastic what I'm shooting now. So
yeah. Did you grow up hunting or?
Yeah. I think I started hunting I think I was 10, 11. Of course, I had a break action 243. So
fun.
And I think I hunted until I was about 14, and I kind of got away from that and started picking up sports and stuff like that. So kind of got out of hunting.
Yeah, sports and introduced to the female variety.
Yeah. Of course, that takes up a lot of time in itself. So
it's so true. It's so funny when people are like talking about junior shooters and like, just don't worry, he'll hit the female phase soon. He'll be gone. No.
Yep, I've seen it a lot.
Oh, I love it. So like for you, were you naturally just like really good at shooting, or was it something you had to work on, or did you kind of have that from the get-go?
I mean, whenever I first started shooting the sport, I mean, I was average at best, but I really had to put the time in, and I really didn't do it live. I kind of it was constantly just messing with the gun. I mean, anytime I had free time at home, I always had the gun in my hand. I had one mag, and I literally just dropped it out and put it back in. So that was pretty much it. But
humble beginnings. What gun was this?
It was Glock 19.
That was the first gun you bought?
Yep, that was the very first gun I bought.
It's 95% Glock.
Yeah,
for all of us.
Yep. And honestly, whenever I started shooting USPSA, I shot the 19 for like 2 years. Huh. And I just never switched to anything else.
Did you shoot limited or what division?
Yeah, I shot limited.
Okay. Minor then?
Yep, limited minor.
That's what I'm still doing with my life. That's awesome. That's awesome. Oh man. Now, I know your brother shoots as well. So like when did he start getting into competition shooting as well? Like when you did or different times?
Well, we both actually started at the same time. Of course, I started with the Glock 19 and he started with the Glock 17. And we found one club. Of course, it's Rock Castle. Everybody knows what Rock Castle was. And of course, that was 4 years ago. And we started shooting their club matches, of course, once a month. And we kind of made friends through that. And then we started going to other little local clubs. But we didn't really start shooting any actual majors until like 2 years after we started shooting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you're born and raised Kentucky.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you couldn't tell.
I like it. Okay, so who's more competitive?
Honestly, that's a toss-up. I mean, neither one of us like to be beat, so it's kind of good both of us being on the same squad. Of course, we're different divisions, but we're always chasing each other.
Yeah. Did y'all shoot limited together at the same time, or did you always split off in it? Okay, you did.
We shot limited together for a while, and so I always had a pretty hard time with irons because my eyes, like, they wouldn't. I had bad eyes. Of course, I had that fixed with LASIK, but
Ooh,
um,
you're young to have that done.
yeah, I decided to get it done early. But like whenever I started shooting, like he was always better than me, truth be told. But once I figured out the irons was the problem, I switched to CO, and he was still shooting limited minor with a 17L, and it kind of evened out there. And of course, he's at production now, so
Yeah.
he's at a little bit of a disadvantage.
So if he came up to you and said, "Who's a better shooter?" or "Who was a better shooter back then?" would you still admit that?
It depends on if he's in the room or not, which he's not right now. So I'll be honest.
I mean, it's recorded now, so there you go. Oh, I love this. I love this. Okay, so I've never had this experience. I kind of want to learn about it. Like, how do you and your brother like train together? Do you train together? Do you stage plan together? Like, how does that dynamic work?
Honestly, we really don't train together that much. That way, like, I have my set time to do it, and then he has his set time to do it. That way, we don't interfere with each other. And like, of course, stage plans. It's kind of, he shoots production, I shoot CO, so it's kind of hard for him to use any of my stage plans. So, but I mean, of course, we both bounce ideas off of each other at matches. That way, everybody sees something a little bit different. So it's always good to have second pair of eyes on it.
Yeah. So do you guys like help each other really during a match or on a squad? Like that
Oh,
is
yeah.
beneficial? Okay.
Oh yeah. Because we've shot with each other enough, and of course we're brothers, but we can tell when something is bothering the other person, so we can kind of bounce off of each other and
Awesome.
get our heads back straight, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, have y'all shot anything other than USPSA?
We have both shot. We shot a little bit of 3-gun, but we never we shot club matches, and we didn't bring a shotgun, so we just took penalties on whatever.
What?
And,
that's not 3-gun. You shot 2-gun with a handicap. What the heck?
But we've shot quite a few run and gun matches. Of course, we shot several of the matches before Rock Castle closed.
Yeah.
Of course, their run and gun matches was awesome. But of course, we've shot Heartbreak several times at BGSL.
Is that the muddy slinging rifle? Yeah.
Yeah.
Walk me through that. Like, I've never done that.
So we do the 10Ks, and basically it's what you leave the start line with is what you have the entire match. So I think sometimes it's over 10K, like close to 11K. Sometimes it's a little under. So it's different trail every time. And of course, you have to take all your ammo loaded and mag, everything full kit. But it's honestly really fun. So I think they have 2 obstacle courses at Heartbreak, and last February I got to do it, and it was a muddy mess. It was nasty.
All the photos from that.
Yeah.
So is it just neutralize the target 2 on brown? Like, what's their scoring?
Honestly, they shoot a lot more steel than like just big silhouette steel. Of course, I think they shoot out to 300 at 8-inch plates and stuff. So there's been a few matches that I've went to that they shoot paper, but I can't really remember. I don't shoot enough of their matches to remember. Everybody does it a little bit different.
It's interesting. So why do you shoot those? Just for funsies?
Just for fun. We've got another set of friends that really don't shoot USPSA, and I kind of just do that to kind of get a break from USPSA sometimes.
Yeah. Do you get burnout?
Sometimes. It's normally about the winter season whenever I'm not getting to shoot. So it's kind of hard to keep the fire burning whenever you're not going to locals every weekend. So, but it's about to get started back up. So,
for sure. Do you have indoor ranges, or y'all just only go to the outdoor?
So my brother actually works at a gun store now, and he has access to an indoor range. So that works out pretty good for him. But we actually have a range right behind our house, so that makes it pretty easy too.
Ugh. Yeah. So I'm seeing a trend. All of these top competitors have land or property and can walk out their door and shoot. That's the trend.
It makes it easier for sure.
Yeah.
It makes it easier to find the time.
Yeah. Have you ever schlepped all your 3-gun gear just to go to a practice for like 7 hours with 3 guns?
No, I don't think I've done that.
The nightmare. I'm going off on a tangent, but like Brennen, I feel like is the most patient person to be working in a firearms store full of like, dum-dums.
Well, it's honestly pretty funny because as soon as he gets home from work, he has like 40 stories to tell me about people that he sees. And I'm like, of course, he's one of the RSOs working the range. So he sees the grunt of it. I mean, he's got some killer stories, but of course, what's funny about it is all the people that work there none of them shoot competition, so they don't know what a GM level shooter is actually like, and it's honestly just hilarious.
Does he ever demo? Like, yeah.
Whenever he gets pushed to a certain point, he will. But
I feel like that takes a lot. It's just, I guess, me knowing Brennen, you know a lot better, but it's like he's very patient.
Yeah, he's patient to a certain extent, and then
oh yeah, all of us are. I couldn't.
Him a little bit more than me though.
Yeah, for sure. So like for you, I mean, mastering like the dot was a lot easier. Whereas like people like me, I am struggling with the dot. Presenting the dot, finding the dot, transitioning targets, and where the dot went. Like, how does someone even learn to do all of that? What are drills that they can use?
Honestly, I really didn't even use any drills per se, but it's just familiarity. And of course, a lot of people I see that have problems with it, it's typically off the draw.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not so much finding it after the shot because it's just coming right back in your plan of view. So I see sometimes like in a super hard transition, people lose the dot, but it's just getting used to it. I mean, there's no fast track to learning the dot. Yeah. But the way I actually learned it, and it kind of sounds stupid, but I actually went in my room and turned all the lights off and done my dry fire that way, because you have turned the dot really low, you have no reference on the gun whatsoever. So if the dot's in the window, you got it, but if it's not, you ain't gonna find it. So that was actually the quickest way I learned to pick it up off the draw. But in transition and everything like that, it's just you have to get used to it.
What setup do you shoot? What gun? What optic? Like, what all have you done to your gun?
Well, right now I'm shooting a X5 Legion, and I have nothing about it is really an X5 Legion, but I've got a Zev slide with its direct mount SRO, and I found with of course, I don't like the SIG dots at all. I've seen way too many people have problems with them, and Trigicon stuff is just solid. I mean, I broke one SRO, but it was kind of intentional. But I was at Florida Open. Of course, this was 2020 or 2021. I'm sorry, and I had the regular Legion slide with the Springer Precision plate, and mid-match at lunch, my plate come loose from the slide. So I had to go to the warm-up bay, tighten everything back down, and re-zero. So after that match, I was like, I'm going with direct mount from here on out.
You don't have another point of failure?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And instead of relying on 4 screws, you're relying on 2. So, and this is a whole lot easier to cinch back down.
Yeah.
But of course, I've done my own trigger work, and I've got the the tungsten insert for the grip, and gas pedal. That's about it.
You have a gas pedal for minor? Huh.
Yep.
How many people make fun of you?
Not really that many up until now.
Oh, no. The reason I said is I put one in my Atlas because I thought it was fun. I really liked it. And then
Honestly,
everybody made fun of me.
I don't really put any pressure on the gas pedal. It's just more of a reference point on it. But to be truthful with you, the main reason I even tried the gas pedal, all loaded table starts I had problems with picking it up, and every single time I grabbed the gun, it would drop the mag. And I did everything I could to find out a remedy for that.
Yeah.
And of course, everybody was telling me, well, you just need to pick up the gun right. Well, no, I want a mechanical fail safe. That way, mid-match, I'm not dropping the mag off the table.
That's funny. That's hysterical. Yep. I mean, that makes sense. It's like a side charging handle for PCC. You get little pellets, easy to grip.
I mean, open guns. You got the racker on the left-hand side, so it puts it up into your hand better.
No, I was made fun of, and I was pressured, and I put it back in the regular one. So that was me. I think they're cool. Want one? Oh man. Have you always shot with the SRO, or did you switch dots?
So whenever I started shooting CO, I shot with the RMR.
Okay.
And whenever the SRO came out, I had to have one, and I've stuck with it ever since. Of course, I actually bought one of the very first ones, like the first gen, but I started with a 2.5.
Okay.
And after I tried a bigger dot, I got 3 5 MOAs. So, of course, these are the second gens now. But I've tried several dots, and I've probably got 50,000 rounds on this dot alone.
Wow.
So, and I've never had any problems with losing zero or anything. So it's kind of hard for me to even try anything else whenever I know I can rely on this dot.
Oh yeah. So you're not like a tinker or some of those dum-dum that just keeps trying to.
No. No. If it works, why fix it?
There's a lot that do that though. I'm like, oh, yeah, painful.
Well, my brother is one of the worst. He will. That's a side point, but
this is why we're here. We want all the info.
If you could see this gun table right now, I have more Tanfolio parts laying around than I can count.
That's awesome. Now, for the dot too, like, do you carry a gun with a dot or irons?
No, I carry with a dot. Every single gun I pretty much own has a dot on it.
Same one though, the Trijicon?
So I have a 365 XL. It has a Romeo 0 on it.
Yeah.
But that's just what it come with.
Yeah.
And I've got RMR on the Glock 19, but I've also got my X5 rig with the SRO on it. So
yeah,
pretty much everything's Trijicon.
Well, and I asked that just because, like, I know for me in my world, moving from PCC to a pistol, like I try to have the same dots. It sounds silly, but like it's just you get used to the dot, and if you change dots, it's hard to change.
Right.
Like my offset, I try to do the same MOA, or the same window, or just make it look as similar as possible.
Right.
So.
Yep.
Okay. Now, where do you see shooters fail the most at using a dot? Like, what's your words of wisdom with carry optics?
I don't know really, because as long as you can find the dot out of the holster, you're pretty much set. The bullets are going where the dot's going. So, I mean, if you can find it out of the holster, that's half the battle's already won.
Okay. So, like, dry fire is probably a lot of that, like you said.
Yeah. Dry fire is big. I mean, I don't dry fire a whole lot. I mean, even before a match, I might maybe 15, 20 minutes the night before the match, and I probably won't touch the gun until the make ready. But no, it's just familiarity with. It's just like anything else. It's just being familiar with whatever you're using.
Yeah. Interesting. So, like, you don't. Never mind.
No, go ahead.
I was just kidding. No, we're good. So like for you guys in classification wise, like when you started limited, where were you at? Like classification wise, where'd you
I
start?
think the very first classifier I put in was like B class, I think. And I was actually looking at this earlier, and I think it was 2018. I had one B class classifier in for limited, and like the next classifier I shot was CO. So I didn't shoot hardly any limited while I was an actual member. But
That's funny.
But yeah, I was rocking B class back in the day.
How fast did it take you to move up though from like just that shooting level with carry optics to Grandmaster?
So I hovered around A for like a year and a half or so, something like that. And I really didn't, because that was back whenever I think I shot one major, and it was back in it was 2018, Indiana S&S, and I actually won CO as a B class shooter then, and that was my first major. And I didn't shoot another major. I can't even remember the next major I shot, but I really didn't try to progress. Like I landed around A, and I was just shooting local matches, so I really didn't see the point of trying to make GM. I really didn't care because I wasn't shooting with anybody at that level, so I didn't know what that level looked like.
Yeah.
And I started. I made some friends that done a lot of shooting back in the day, and they just kind of asked me if I wanted to get better, and I was like, I guess. And he let me know that there was a few drills that I could do and progress as a shooter quite a bit.
Oh.
And he gave me a few drills, and I think it was 6 or 7 months. It might not even been that long. I made GM just like that. And of course, I always had the athletic ability to put down GM scores, but I really didn't know what it took or what I needed work on per se.
Yeah.
And of course, to this day, I still struggle with visual patience, but that was my biggest weakness. Is I was B class blazer, so
accuracy by volume.
Everything. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh
yeah. But yeah, it was after I actually started putting in the work. It didn't take very long, but of course, it's just like with anybody. I mean, whenever you actually want it, you can obtain it pretty quick. Of course, it all depends on how bad you want it.
Yeah. Who coached and mentored you and your brother?
So his name's Rick Van Blerkum, and if you ever see him at a match, he's the older guy that has a gray ponytail, and he stands out like a sore thumb. So, but
him and his wife travel and shoot together.
Yep.
Yeah.
Him too. But they're pretty much our range mom and dad, and he started working with us, I think right about when COVID hit in 2020. And of course, I was at A class back then. And of course, through COVID, I had all the time in the world to work on shooting. And of course, the ammo supply wasn't the best, but yeah. And hey, they've helped us out a lot.
But they're in Florida, right?
No, they actually live in Tennessee.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah. He's really close with Frank Garcia at Universal.
Okay. Gotcha. Yep. So what do you do in live fire as far as training? When you do go to the range, it sounds like you don't put in practice. So what should you be doing, Trace?
So really and truly, the biggest thing I need right now is a plate rack. So I've actually got that in the works. That way my steel sucks. And I just don't have the visual patience for it. And that's just something, it's progressively gotten worse because I keep trying to force it and it's not working. So I've got to do a whole lot of recalibrating before this season starts.
Interesting. Visual patience. I mean, can't you dry fire a little bit more for that too?
I probably could, but I won't.
What about like shooting steel challenge or like a falling steel match? Have you shot one of those?
I've shot one steel challenge match, and I honestly need to shoot more, but just don't really. I don't have any desire to shoot steel challenge, but I know that's what I need. So
that literally would change your game with visual patience.
Yep.
Either one of those.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah, and
gosh.
I mean, nobody wants to do something that they're not good at, and I think that's what I struggle with the most.
Just be sure that when you go to take video, please.
Oh Lord, they will definitely not be on the gram.
Oh, come on, that's real life. That's real life. Your club has steel challenge, dude. I know where you're at. Oh my gosh. So what did it take to make GM? Like, what is the difference between A and GM or M and GM?
It's honestly more about consistency than anything. And so back before I was really actually training, I was always swinging for the fences, and sometimes they'd hook and sometimes they wouldn't. And I just had to realize that the skill level was there, so I just had to read the sights and actually shoot what I'm supposed to. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what, of course, you start getting into the pros like Niels and all those guys. It's just a whole nother level. Like, of course, these guys have been doing it forever, so they have all that match experience to call back on.
Yeah.
But it's just all about the consistency.
Fair. What is your big dream in the industry, in the competitive shooting sports?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I did not expect to get where I'm at right now. I mean, looking back 2 years, I wouldn't have thought that I'd have been on the super squad or anything like that. That just wasn't in my picture. Mm-hmm. And of course, the first nationals I ever shot was back 2020. So,
yeah,
I mean, I didn't even see myself shooting nationals, but I never really looked that far into it. But whenever I started talking to Rick and going and training with him and stuff like that, it kind of changed my perspective on the sport just a little bit. And of course, my goal was to make GM, and now that I've made GM, I haven't really thought much into it.
Such a boy. So you've never written down goals like at all, or have you? No.
No. Everybody tells me I need to, but I like living day by day more than anything.
Oh my gosh. I mean, obviously you want to win, right? But like realistically, like knowing if you want to be top 5, top 10, or even like area matches, like if you put in the time and the work, beforehand, like, oh, I'm going to win this, I think you can manifest some of that by writing it down.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Might have to give it a try.
Yeah. Now, it's funny you were talking about like changing your perspective on the sport and stuff. In general, and like this is kind of something that I ask some people that are more like spiritual-ish, but like, do you think that competitive shooting has taught you stuff like outside of the shooting world that's changed your perspective on life or mental attitude, or just like, how has it changed you?
Honestly, I don't know. Like, I know for one thing, of course, I work by myself and I do somewhat construction work. And I know it has definitely made me more efficient in everything I do, like crazy. And of course, everything in this sport's about efficiency, doing 2 or 3 things at once.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Of course, I'm a guy, so I don't really think that deep into stuff like a woman would. So
I'm gonna have your Brennen on. I feel like he's the opposite of you.
He is bipolar. I mean, polar opposite. 100%. Yeah.
I agree. Before we dive into nationals, because I do want to get into that, do you guys like reload your own ammunition for your?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to do this sport right now without loading your own ammo.
Yep. No, I'm diving into that, and I hate it.
Well, I see it sitting back there.
Yes, and it has not even been test fired of anything I have made yet. I've already had to pull a few bullets. It's a whole thing, dude. It's just too much. So for now, there it's for looks right now, like $1,700. Yay!
It's a good centerpiece back there.
I'm just more mad it takes up my bench space now. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Do you keep a clean bench or a disarray of stuff?
I try to keep a clean bench, but my brother does not share that mentality. So that's a story for another time.
How old are y'all, by the way? What's the difference there?
5 years apart. I'm 25. He's 20.
Okay. Yeah. So Carry Optics Nationals, which was really cool. So you made the Super Squad in 2020, or did they have? Yeah, 2020.
I actually did not make it in 2020, and to this day I don't know. I just got thrown on the Super Squad, and of course it was kind of a big thing because the Super Squad didn't have any of the pros on it. Like JJ wasn't on it at one time, Max wasn't on it, Phil wasn't on it. Like all those guys was on a completely different squad.
Yeah,
and I can't even remember who all was on it whenever I got thrown on it. And because there was only like 4 or 5 shooters on the actual Super Squad.
Yeah.
And I think Jake Martins throwed me on the Super Squad. And then, of course, all the big boys started getting on it. And but I had no idea that I was going to be put on the Super Squad. Of course, me and my brother was signed up together.
Aww.
And somebody messaged me and was like, "Why are you on the Super Squad?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And they was like, "You're on the Super Squad." And I looked and I was like, what the heck just happened? So I had no idea that I was getting thrown on the Super Squad. It just happened.
Oh my gosh.
And I think this is like a month and a half or so before Nationals. I was like, it just blew my mind. Of course, that it threw me for a loop because I was like, I don't even know how to prepare for this now.
Mm-hmm. Did you like shit your pants? Were you excited? Were you nervous? Or was it all at once, all of that?
It was too many emotions at once. Like it was overwhelming to say the least.
So we do have emotional capacity in Trace's brain.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so
it just does not get expressed. We'll put it at that.
Yeah, but this is why we're here to talk about it now. We're reflecting. So pre Super Squad, were you actually putting in more training and effort for Nationals or not really?
Honestly, I kind of slowed down because, of course, primer shortage is kind of killer on everybody. And I was trying to consolidate and say that way I can actually shoot this year.
Yeah.
So I was kind of pulling back on the training, and I think I was shooting maybe 300 rounds a week, just to kind of keep a good solid basis. And typically about a week before, I'll bump it up to about, I don't know, 600, just kind of double it. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to overwhelm myself at the same time. And but that was pretty much it. I mean, of course, my dry fire didn't really change. I mean, maybe 15, 20 minutes a week. That's about it.
Oh my gosh. So then post Super Squad, once you found out you're on there, you didn't change anything. You didn't get more training or see. Oh my gosh.
I was trying not to add any more pressure to myself than what already was. So I just tried to keep everything the same.
So do you think you have a good mental game, or do you think that's where you struggle?
I think that's where I struggle the most. I mean, of course, Nationals for me was kind of a roller coaster of emotions, but of course, a lot of personal life going on.
Yeah.
But
it's pretty
of course, I didn't expect all that to happen. Of course, especially 2 days before Nationals. Yeah. But I mean, after that, my Nationals was pretty much just shot. So I was just going there to shoot the match. Honestly, it was more shooting with the caliber of shooters that I was shooting with, because if it hadn't been for that, I probably wouldn't have went to the match.
Yeah.
But I was just basically going for a learning experience, because it's not every day that you get to shoot with those guys.
No, I was going to ask you that. What are some things that you did take away from shooting with them? What are some things that you were watching them when they were shooting? Like, what were you learning?
Well, honestly, the most I learned from them was So everybody has their own little pre-shot routine, but it's all pretty much the same.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It's more it's all about the mental side, because that's where I lack the most.
Mm-hmm.
And just watching all of them being cool and collected, like from the make ready all the way through, it was just surreal to watch.
Yeah.
But those guys have been doing it for 20 some years. I mean,
yeah.
But that was probably the coolest thing.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so for all of that too, like, were you prepared, like, with area and sectional matches and local matches? Like, do you think that helped prepare you for the stages that you saw at nationals?
To an extent, of course, the upper stages not so much, because
You mean you don't carry ammo?
no, not typically. I mean, I can't think of one major I shot this year that was in play. I mean, I did shoot Area 3, and there was some circus stuff going on, but not quite like that.
Yeah.
But that stage, honestly, I didn't mind that as much as, what was it, 17, the one that
Was massive with the, like,
yeah, with the half swingers.
oh my God.
Of course, I didn't have to shoot it in the dark, so I mean, I had that going.
Don't you have a flashlight on your carry-on?
No, I don't.
Oh man, what was your favorite stage of that match?
I don't know, honestly. It would probably, of course, I really like that stage that you was ROing on. Of course, I think I was
You did pretty good.
right up there. I was right up there with Max on that one. That might have been your little help,
You're welcome.
little pep talk.
Oh,
But I can't remember which stage it was. It was another one of the speed shoot stages, and you started outside, stepped in, and there was it was, I think, a mini popper, big popper, and I think a paper, and then you went to the right, and then shot a paper, and then went up. I think it was 24 rounds or so. It was. I think it was in section B. I can't remember which stage it was, though.
that's not good. I have no idea.
Nationals is kind of a blur for me, so.
Yeah. Well, we don't talk about too much about that. Then, like, just outside of in shooting in general, like, what are your favorite stages to shoot, and what are your least favorite?
I really like technical style stages more than hosers. I've just never really been a hoser, because everything just falls apart for me. But your more technical style matches, like partials at 20 yards and stuff like that, I can, and of course athletic style stages, big runs and stuff like that, I typically always prefer those over big hit factor hoser stages.
Yeah. Are you an AM or a PM shooter?
I do not know. Because I have not shot enough like 2 day style matches to figure that out.
So I was going to ask you that. Like, I mean, I kind of knew that about you. So I know I'm bringing back nationals, but, like, were you prepared for the 3 days of, like, being able to reset, refresh, like, not think about day one? No. That is one. Of course, I've shot 2 nationals, and I've never shot any area matches that was a split day. I always shot them in one day. So, of course, going one whole year without shooting a back-to-back match, it's just, my mental game on that side is pretty weak, because I'm always used to shooting it one day and being done. And so I think that's one thing I struggle with the most, because I kind of put everything into day one, and then 2 and 3, just I progressively get, I don't know if it's like I lose focus, or I don't know. It's just, I'm definitely not the shooter on day one that I am on day 3. It's just, it goes downhill pretty quick. What are you doing to work on that right now?
Honestly, I think I'm signed up for Area 5. So it's a full day. I think it's full day on Saturday and half day on Sunday. So I'm going to try to sign up for some more area matches. That's 2 days. So that way I can get used to that because, of course, all I'm used to is going to locals and shooting. Of course, it starts about 10 o'clock and all I'm used to is shooting in the morning. So it's the PM more than the AM.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Area 6, I'll do 2 day. So I think that is part of why sometimes like off training or other competitions can kind of help. I know I'm mediocre at everything. Just 3-gun prepares me for 3 days of shooting, and from being there from shoot like 7 a.m. in the morning, sometimes till 7 p.m. at night, and like that's a lot to stay focused and mentally aware. But I mean, like when I go up to nationals, it's like for RO's 2 days, I'm like, okay. I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting because you're at a GM level, but just you don't have the GM experience. I don't think.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think what it was is I don't think I even have any major matches that I shot at anything. Of course, my first major I shot at B class level, but all the others I was a GM whenever I started shooting majors. So I really didn't have that. I don't know what you'd call it, but experience at a lower level, and so it's pretty much all or nothing.
I'm gonna put you in some boot camping. Like you're in Kentucky, you should go like backpacking for 3 days and do endurance and like your meals, your energy, and like mental, dude. It's tough.
Yep.
Yep. Do you read any books? No podcast. Of
course, I mean I've read like Stoger's book and stuff like that, but I definitely don't read it for fun. I'm just not wired that way.
You listen to podcasts or no?
No.
Oh my gosh. Have you? Go ahead.
I mean, I've listened to Stoger's podcasts and stuff like that, just kind of pass the time while I load ammo and stuff. But
yeah. I'm trying to figure out ways to help you. So, like, people listening, go tell Trace what you can do. Because I think just like not even in shooting, but like some podcasts, like for me, like I listen to for business or marketing or whatever, right, can help even into the competition world. So I don't know. There's something out there, like mental game strength. I don't know. I'm gonna find something. Have you taken any actual formal classes from anyone?
I have not actually. I've thought about it, and I've had, of course, Rick has been trying to push me to go to either Smitty or Frank or somebody like that, but I haven't really. Of course, I mean, it's part of it that I got to this level. I guess it's kind of a pride thing. I got to this level pretty much. I mean, yes, I was given drills, but I mean, I learned what worked for me. So it's. I don't know. I just haven't really thought about it that much. But I guess if I get serious enough, I might.
Yeah, it helps. But it helps. I changed my entire shotgun loading because of one class, and it clicked, and I was like, oh, I've been doing it wrong for this long. Cool. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. For new shooters that are kind of getting into this and they have zero match experience, like how should they walk through day? Like, should they check all the stages at major matches, or if it's over a couple days, do they just absorb, what they're shooting the next day? Like, how should they do that?
So for me, I kind of like to, of course, this is on 2 national matches of experience. So, I mean, but I like to at least walk all the stages at least once, like the first day, or as in the day before the first day.
Yeah.
That way I have a general consensus of what type of shooting I'm going to be looking at. Mm-hmm. And then I'll really look at the stages that I'm about to start on the next day. Like I'll really dissect those. And then after I shoot the first day, I'll look at the B portion or whatever.
Next zone.
But that way I don't overload my brain with 15, 18 stages of stage plans, and I can focus on the 6 that I have ahead of me.
Yeah. How often do you change those up based on like walkthrough day? Do you change it on day of occasionally?
So unless I see something that is just extremely obvious that is way better than what I had originally, I won't change it unless that's the case. because I'm very bad at having a couple stage plans in my head, and then as soon as that buzzer goes off, one of them's going to play out, and probably two of them's going to try to squeeze together. So I try not to do that anymore.
One of them's going to play out, and two of them are going to squeeze together. Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's the greatest thing I've ever heard, and I feel like we need to write. Well, it's recorded, but we need to write that one down. Oh my god. That's awesome. That is awesome. Oh my gosh. Okay, but in terms of walkthrough, like when you're breaking down a stage, what are you looking for, and how many times do you kind of like run over it just to make sure like you've got the game plan down?
So really, the first thing I kind of look for is steps on a stage. So if I'm looking at it one or two ways, whichever way is the shortest step count. Of course, if it's shorter by 5 or 6 steps, I'm definitely not even going to look at the other way. I mean, unless it's something kind of stupid, but the step count is always the first. And then I will always try to figure out which is the best, most productive way to do a reload. And of course, Brennen, he's doing it every 8 rounds. So that's where we kind of separate. But I really don't worry about anything other than, other than like target orders. Whenever I come into shooting positions, I might change those up a little bit. But the only thing I'm really worried about is how many steps is on the stage and finding the quickest way to the end, because that's what it's all about, is getting to the end as quick as you can. So
yeah. How often are you consistent in shooting a stage then?
I have been getting better.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, at nationals, I won't even consider that. But about I think Kentucky sectional this year, every stage plan that I had in my head, it went exactly the way I wanted it to. Oh. And that does not happen very often. And I kept that going pretty much just about every major.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that I struggled with as an early GM and as A-class shooter is I would have 2 stage plans in my head. Like I would think about 2 of them, and then about midway through the stage, I would forget where I was at, and I would pick one of the 2 stage plans, and
in the middle of the head.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, is your game plan like this year moving forward to try to squad with people that are better shooters? Like, do you think that helps you out, or do you think that it's kind of like intimidating?
Honestly, to a certain extent, it's a little bit intimidating for me because I'm not used to shooting with people on the same skill level or better.
Yeah.
So I found that out real hard at Area 6 this year because I was shooting with Smitty, and I was trying to chase him all match. Of course, it just fell apart for me, and I found out real quick that I do not do well for chasing people. Yeah. And that's one thing that it's kind of hard for me to work on because I don't have that opportunity other than major matches.
Right.
And so I have not figured out how to work on that for myself yet. Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of people turn away from watching someone shoot, right? So they don't go and do that, but then it's hard to look away too because you're on that field. But yeah, when you don't play your game or just do your thing and you try to chase someone, I think that stages blow up pretty quickly.
Yep.
So you're still
yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say you're very much like I think you're an amazing shooter. By the way, you're very much.
Well, I appreciate that.
You're an incredible shooter. It's just like there's so much more to shooting than just shooting that I think that's like you're backing up and learning. I mean, we all are, but that like comparison game is really hard to do.
Yep.
It's really hard.
And, oh shoot! I lost train of thought.
No, you're good.
It might come back to me.
Okay. So basically, you need a squad with friends. Have you ever worked a match actually?
I have not actually.
Okay. I wonder. My challenge to you maybe this year is to work one match. Doesn't have to be major. or maybe a semi-major, and like go shoot on RO day and see if that's easier. Because like RO day, it's still same rules, same stuff, but I feel like it's a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more fun. It might do you some good.
I can see that.
Yeah,
I can see that.
Yeah, or just shoot on RO day. Like maybe don't work match, but major matches that have the RO day, like squad there, see what happens.
Right.
Yeah,
it makes it more homely. It's like shooting local. Yeah, I can see that.
A lot of fun. So if you had to switch divisions, by the way, like out of Carry Optics, like what would you go to next?
I would really like to shoot open, but I tried that for a while, and open did not agree with me very well. I had so many gun problems. Of course, I mean that was kind of due to buying a used gun, but oh my Lord, I had so many problems. I got really good at clearing out malfunctions. I mean, really good at it. But I would really like to shoot open, but with a lot better gun.
Okay, fair enough.
But because I mean, all those top guys like Max, JJ, all those guys, they're well profound open shooters, and I think, of course, that speed just carries over to CO 100%.
Yeah. So it's not the gun problems with open, or do you struggle with open any other way?
No, I really don't struggle with open in any other way. Like I know some people, they can't handle the comp, like it really messes with them, but none of that really bothers me. I just had a shitty open gun.
Okay. Okay. Are you one of those people that like checks scores each day, by the way, of major matches, or like immediately after, like, you know what I mean? Or is that in your head?
I do. Of course, everybody checks scores. I mean,
not everybody. Not everybody.
I don't know, but I look at the scores, but I don't analyze them really. Like I just kind of see where I'm at. Of course, this is just from nationals, so all my other matches is just one day, and of course, you're done, so you can't change anything out of it. So, at nationals, I would look at my scores, but I wouldn't really place any value on it because I didn't want that to affect my next day. Because if I'm going to think about it, it's going to affect it negatively. So,
what about like seeing who's shooting in your division too? I mean, that's something that trips a lot of people up. They're like, oh, but they're in my division. I was like, so they could have a gun malfunction. They could DQ. They could not, have a good match. So there's a lot that can go on where people they almost like set themselves up for failure by looking at the app or even RO day scores right before they even go and shoot.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I really don't pay attention to that much because, I mean, there's nothing that you can do that will affect the outcome. I mean, you have no control over what the other guy is putting in. Yeah. You only have control over what you're putting in. So the dude could be shooting 5,000 rounds a week. You just don't know.
Or the gal.
So, right.
I had to do that to you. Not me. Certainly not me, obviously. No, that's for sure. Oh, man. Okay, for 2022 then. What matches are you shooting? What are your goals that are in your head not written down for them?
Well, I might write them down after you pointed that out to me so many times. So, but as of right now, I'm shooting. I think I'm signed up for Kentucky sectional. I'm signed up for. I just signed up for Area 5, and I don't think I've signed up for any others yet.
What? Well, what's in your to-do list or will probably shoot list?
Well, I wanted to shoot Georgia State again, but I don't believe they're going to be back at.
They're not. They moved it. It's on Memorial Weekend, a different range.
Yeah.
What about
Georgia Riverbend is awesome.
It is. That was a good match. I didn't fall.
How about that?
Didn't fall, and I got Hi Lady. I have a championship plaque.
Really?
Yeah.
How about that?
That was fun. How about that? Yeah, who knew? No, that's cool. Tennessee's going to be back at Orsa this year, so that's like 2 hours, I would think.
Oh, that's right. I am signed up for Atomic Blast too.
Okay,
I forgot about that one.
Yeah,
sweet.
And then you'll do Area 6, I would hope. I would think.
Maybe. Is it back at it's back at the same range, ain't it?
I think so. I'm really bad about that. Really bad about that. So you're gonna shoot nationals?
Yes, I actually just got the invitation the other day. So
congrats, dude.
I have to make that on the list too.
Okay. Now, I'm curious. Have you ever thought about trying 2-gun?
I have thought about that quite a bit, actually.
Really? Because you've already got the muddy bullshit. Can you imagine shooting USPSA be a breeze?
Yeah.
With no plate.
But of course, getting a PCC gun, it's all about funding, honestly.
Two. Pick one.
Oh crap! I shouldn't open my mouth.
Like 2 hours. Yeah, there's no excuses. You know you shouldn't too, because like there's so many people around you that would find you a gun to borrow. Then drop of a hat. Hey, we're on a podcast. It's recorded. I think you would be really good at that though, because I mean, PC has a dot. You can shoot open division. It's run and gun, essentially. Yeah. I know it's far this year, but I think there are some 2-gun matches that might be worthwhile for you to go to.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think 2-gun nationals is back at CMP, ain't it? Is it not?
Colorado.
I thought it was.
Colorado.
Is it? So is CO the only one, and that's it?
Low cap, like L10.
Low cap. Okay.
Stack? Yeah. In May, I think. I can't remember.
Okay.
That's right. But like, so Max Leograndis is doing some different matches out west. So I'll be doing his like PCL 3-gun, and they've got carbine series. So he's doing a lot of different stuff out there as well. But anyways, okay. Switch gears. Enough of the competition stuff. I want to talk about a little bit of the personal defense stuff. So like, did you start carrying when you turned 21? Or I don't know.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Of course, I was that guy that whenever I turned 18, I started open carrying, and I cringe on that every day, but that's beside the point.
No, but, I think that's important learning. We've all started somewhere.
Right.
There are people that have been on this podcast that have bought a high point. So that was
I can't say that I've done that. So
I'm trying to make you feel better here. No, so 2 things to that point. Why do you think it's important to like go out and get your permit or start carrying a gun? And then can you break down seriously your perspective on open carry and why you're for it, against it, things to be cautious of? Because I'm anti open carry.
Well, see, I think everybody that owns a firearm 100%, and that actually train with their gun should get their concealed carry. And I'm just like you. I'm 100% against open carrying, because I mean, you're just showing the world what you have. So, the thing about it is I'm not going to pull out my gun unless I have to use it, and that's 100%. I mean, close family, whatever.
Yeah.
There's just so many legal stuff, repercussions after the fact. So. Yeah.
But you're totally a target when you're open carry. Your target.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Some of these holster rigs I see, or non-holster rigs I see, where someone could just, like, a kid would be thinking it's a toy and just pick it out of someone's, waistline.
Yep. It's scary, to say the least.
Yeah. And so like you're gonna be your first point of target. You want that gray man series. I try to be better about like not wearing gun stuff too much in public. Yeah.
Yep. Hats is the big thing.
Yeah.
Like I see it all the time. Hats is like the first thing I notice out of anything. Like you can choose not to wear like gun related shirts and stuff like that, but hats really stand out.
Yeah, it's a smaller industry than people think. It's like, oh, we know what that is. It's interesting. Yep. So you carry the dot. I just started carrying with the dot, and I really, really, really enjoy that. Do you think like more people should try that, or just run what they like? Or
well, I think more than anything, it's what you're used to. Like I don't think people should just go straight to a dot without understanding how to shoot the dot, and because it's if the dot ain't in the window, it's kind of useless. So, but no, I think it's more of whatever you're comfortable with. So, I mean, all I shoot's a dot, so of course I'm going to carry with a dot, but I can't tell anybody else. That's the way.
Yeah, that is the way. Do you have backup irons on yours?
Of course, the 365 it don't, but the 19 does, and none of my X5s do.
Yeah. No, they're kind of obnoxious now that I did it. They're like in the way of the dot in the window because they'll line up, which I get. But for me, I kind of like having the night sights on there just for peace of mind.
Right.
They're there. They're there. So what's your opinion or mindset on carrying a gun daily? Like, what are those habits look like, and why should someone do it every single day?
Well, I mean, number one is if you're carrying concealed, you need to keep it concealed. So, of course, I carry appendix. Every way I carry is appendix, but it's pretty easy to keep it concealed. But people that's like 3 o'clock and stuff like that, I mean, you really have to, whether you're reaching a top shelf or whatever, you got to be mindful of what your garment's doing. But,
train of thought, poof.
Yep.
Mindset though, every day. Like when you put on a gun, like, what are you thinking about? What are you looking for when you're out and about? Like what's on your mind or what changes?
I'm always, just being aware of what's around you and everything like that. I mean, it's not letting your guard down. I mean, it is, but, you don't want to be the guy that's like straight up staring at everybody. Like whenever you're sitting down and eating and like scanning everything, you don't want to be that guy because you look just as suspicious as the guy that's open carrying. So you don't want to do that. But it's just being mindful of what's around you, and whether you're filling up your car or whatever, it's just paying attention. And that's the easiest thing to do is just pay attention to what's around you. And of course, I'm always kind of reading people's body language. So that's a person's body can tell you a lot if you sit down and pay attention.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I know Brennen isn't there yet. Like, but does your family kind of share all that sentiment? Like, do they carry or? I'm struggling.
They actually
my family do
not.
Yeah,
my dad will carry in the vehicle, but
yeah,
my mom, I mean, she hardly ever shoots, and my dad's the same way. Like, it's kind of odd that me and Brennan both are GM.
Die hard. Yeah.
My dad, like, he may shoot 4 or 5 rounds a year. So,
what?
And that's if we make it. Yeah.
So
it's kind of odd.
You know how like parents should never force kids to do anything in general, especially shooting, like force them in that. But like for me, like I want to force my mother to carry a gun. She owns a business. She leaves late at night. She's by herself. It's very dark. My dog is freaking blind right now. And she goes to shop with my mom. And I'm like, Roxy ain't going to protect you because she can't see shit, you know? And I joke, but like, I mean, yeah, I don't think there is a way, but like, I really wish there was a way to force them to take it a little bit more seriously. Kid to adult. I feel like we should be able to do that. I don't know. Crushes my soul. Oh man. Well, so outside of shooting, like I know you said you work in construction, and we've talked about that before offline. What hobbies though do you have outside of shooting, or do you?
I mean, I work on cars and stuff like that. I enjoy working on older cars and stuff like that. But other than shooting and working on cars, I really don't have any hobbies. I mean, I need to get back in the gym, but that's side note.
But you still have female variety that takes up your time too.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. I wouldn't really call that a hobby though.
No, I know. That's just like
maybe at Brennan's level, yes, but
awesome. So how many cars do Kentuckians have that don't run in their yard?
Sorry, you broke up just for a second.
How many Kentuckians like have or how many cars do Kentuckians have that don't run in their yard?
Oh my God. It's just about like literally every other house.
Yeah.
It's pretty common around here.
I didn't understand that when I moved to Tennessee, and it's like everyone has 8 to 11 vehicles, and I'm like, I have one, and if it shits the bed, like that's it.
I think we have 15, and all of them run. So yeah.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
What's your favorite car?
Dang, you caught me off guard on that one. Gone in 60 seconds, 67 Eleanor.
Oh, okay.
67 GT500. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely my dream car.
Do you drive a truck?
I actually drive a 17 Focus ST.
I have no idea what that is.
That's a little Ford Focus.
It's cute. Do you drift in that thing?
No.
Have you seen that Horrible Bosses with Ron White? He's like, I don't normally win. Oh God, sorry. I've digressed. Well, wrapping up here towards the end too. Looking forward to 2022 for sure and shooting with you. Are there any final thoughts though you want to leave listeners with, new shooters with, or anything that we didn't talk about?
Not really.
Nuggets of wisdom? We got nothing?
I am not the one to be talking about wisdom.
That's not true. That's not true. You're receptive to learning and you take feedback, and then, yeah, you can coach others. Okay. Well, then any shout outs you want to give to sponsors or people that support you?
Mainly just Leif at GX Products. About the best holster in the game. He's about wiped Red Hill out.
Yeah.
Looking at that magazine today, he's about done it. I know there's still a lot floating around, but
I'm excited.
Yep.
The retention's there. The retention is huge. Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
And if you want a holster, order now and you'll get it in 6 months though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a one-man show, so I understand that, but
yeah. No, I snagged him at Nationals. The pro tip is if you see him at a match and he's got his holsters right there ready to go, buy one. Because I was like, what 2011 do you have? It's like that. I was like, that's mine, done, like sold, like no questions. That was so convenient because I had been looking at him and I was like, yep. He's like, are you sure? I was like, yeah. Done.
Of course, I've got it pretty good because he's like legit 2 hours away from me. So if I ever need help with anything, he's right there.
He's such a good match director. You need to go shoot some of his different matches too. I think that would help you, like NRL 22. And he's got all sorts of stuff in Sportsman League, Bluegrass. That range. Yeah,
that's one of the locals I shoot every month. Every month I get to. That's definitely one of my locals.
Love it. All right, Trace, how do people find you on social media? Because I know you're super active on there.
It's Trace Decker 7. Yeah. It hardly sees any activity, but
that's you.
There it is.
Love it. Cool. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast, and I hope you do really well this year. I'm excited to see what you accomplish, and take it easy on yourself. You're so far into this. It's quick. But don't give up because you've got potential for sure. For sure.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, thanks all you listeners, and tune in to the next episode next week. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to the Reticle Up podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Follow along on social media at Reticle Up or 3 Gun Kenzie.